What happens when a U.S. senator corners a top Trump official and demands answers about a looming economic collapse? Spoiler, he had none. In a heated Senate hearing, Elizabeth Warren went full throttle on the Trump administration's trade defender, grilling him over tariffs that experts say could cost millions of American jobs. No spin, no mercy, just cold, hard facts. And a stonewalling official who couldn't answer the most basic question: if Americans lose their jobs, will you reverse course? This wasn't just a clash over policy, it was a warning shot about a recession no one's ready for. Let's get into what went down, because if Congress doesn't act soon, we could all be paying the price. Senator Elizabeth Warren absolutely shredded the Trump administration's trade policy. And folks, it wasn't pretty. In a brutal exchange during a Senate hearing, Warren tore into Trump's top trade defender, Mr. Greer, over tariffs that could push America into a recession. And his answers? Dodgy at best, delusional at worst. Let's break it down. So here's the setup. Trump has been using emergency powers to slap tariffs on nearly every imported product. No congressional approval, no real plan. Just on again, off again chaos that's left manufacturers, workers, and investors completely in the dark. Warren didn't waste any time. She opened by accusing Trump of driving the economy off a cliff, citing economists and even Fed Chair Jerome Powell, who warned these tariffs could mean both higher inflation and higher unemployment, a nightmare scenario. And then she went in for the kill. She asked Greer point blank, "If we start losing 700,000 jobs a month, will you lift the tariffs?" What did he say? Not yes, not no. Just a bunch of noise about how he's worried about other numbers. Warren cut through the nonsense, so I take that as a no, but she wasn't done. She threw another grenade. Moody's projects 3.5 million jobs lost if these tariffs stay. If that happens, she asked, will Trump reverse course? Again, no answer. Just spin about Wall Street analysts and status quos. Warren wasn't having it. She shot back, if it never happens, you don't have to worry about your answer. But if 3.5 million Americans lose their jobs, are you lifting the tariffs? Greer danced again, talking about trade deficits and negotiations, but never once saying, yes, we'll act if Americans are hurting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Donald Trump is single-handedly driving this economy off a cliff. With no evidence to back him up, he's claimed emergency authorities to slap new tariffs on nearly every product we import from nearly every country. But Congress has the power to reverse these tariffs, and we should do so immediately. Tariffs can be a tool to help build things in America, but Trump has slapped tariffs on, then off again, with no rhyme or reason. And the uncertainty about the long-term rules makes companies far less likely to invest in manufacturing or jobs here in the United States. If Congress doesn't stand up to Trump, economists predict a recession before the end of the year. And Fed Chair Jerome Powell says we're in a real danger of, quote, both higher unemployment and higher inflation. Translation, Trump's tariffs will push millions of workers out of jobs and push prices up at the same time. So, Ambassador Greer, we've heard a lot of conflicting statements about whether these tariffs are here to stay, how many more rounds of on-off we're going to do. So let me ask the question from a different perspective. Ambassador Greer, we lost 700,000 jobs each month in the last recession. If 700,000 Americans lose their jobs, will the Trump administration suspend these tariffs?
Senator, I think the economists who are making these projections, who often are in favor of fully unfettered free trade, are the same ones who said in the first Trump term that putting tariffs...
Greer, Ambassador Greer, let me just stop you there. I'm not asking about projections. I'm asking if the numbers show that 700,000 people have lost their jobs because of these new tariffs that Trump has slapped on, will the administration reverse course and lift those tariffs?
Senator, that's not going to happen. We've lost 5 million manufacturing jobs over the years, which is the number I'm most worried about, and we have to get those jobs back.
I take that as a no. Let me try another one. Moody's says that if the Trump tariffs remain in place, we will definitely plunge into a recession, which will ultimately cost 3.5 million Americans their jobs. So, Ambassador Greer, if Trump's tariffs push 3.5 million people out of work, will the Trump administration reverse course and lift those tariffs?
Senator, the Wall Street analysts are wrong. They never want to have any kind of change to the status quo.
Right or
but that's who you're quoting to me,
I'm giving
Senator.
you a number. If the number is 3.5 million, if it never comes to pass, you don't have to worry about your answer. But if 3.5 million people lose their jobs because of these tariffs, is the Trump administration prepared to lift them?
Right now, this minute, we're working on negotiations with countries who believe they can achieve reciprocity with us and get their trade deficit down. And that's the emergency we're focused on. There's not going to be a situation where years from now we've lost millions of jobs.
Let's be clear, this isn't policy. This is economic roulette. And Warren called it out for what it is. A reckless, chaotic approach that risks plunging millions into joblessness, all while prices soar. She wrapped it up by demanding that Congress take back control, strip Trump of this emergency authority, and stop playing this tariff red light, green light game that's hurting real people. Warren and Senator Wyden are introducing a bill to do just that. Now the ball's in Congress's court.
If Trump tariffs push workers out of their jobs and raise prices, as Fed Chair Powell has predicted, will you reverse course then?
I think also with respect to Chairman Powell, who I don't know personally, but I know the president makes decisions on trade, and he rarely takes advice from Chairman Powell on this. We found in Trump 1 that you could put tariffs on China and you could make it work and have lower income, lower unemployment, lower in inflation, and increase real median household income over time as we reshore. And that's what we have to do, Senator.
What I'm hearing you say is that no one can hear a rhyme or reason to why the tariffs are off again, on again, off again, on again. But what you're telling us is the fact that hundreds of thousands, even millions of people could lose their jobs and that prices could go up will not be a factor for you or for Donald Trump for rolling those tariffs back. Look, if Republicans are serious about protecting American jobs and fighting inflation, then they can join Democrats right now to pass a resolution to fix Trump's reckless tariffs. This economy is teetering on the edge of collapse. We have the power right here in the Senate and over in the House of Representatives to take this authority away from Donald Trump. We can get this voted on. Senator Wyden and I have already are about to introduce the bill to do that. And if Republicans are serious about not playing the red light, green light with tariffs, but instead about protecting our economy, our families, our jobs, and keeping prices low, then Republicans should join us on that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So what do you think? Is Warren right? Are Trump's tariffs pushing us toward economic disaster? Or is this just political theater? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you're tired of the spin and want real accountability from Washington, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned, because here, we cut through the noise. This is critical coverage. I'll see you in the next one.